This is The Actors Room, episode number 38, and its title is Sean Penn, Part 2. So here we are, continuing talking about Sean Penn with my brother Dave here. So sit back, relax. I hope you enjoy the show. All right, Sean Penn Part 2. Dave, are you ready?
I think so. I hope.
We said in the last episode, we think this one's going to be a little juicier. Right?
I think so.
We kind of set it up in the beginning of last episode, dived into his movies. We're kind of serious in the first episode, right off the bat, talking about his destructive side.
Beating the paparazzi.
Yeah, a lot of people know him for that. He has said that when he gives interviews and they ask him about something else going on in his life and why sometimes he gets bad reactions and people just think of him as a bad guy, he's like, well, people think of me that way, whatever. You know, I'm used to it.
Yeah, he really doesn't care about all that.
You don't think he just doesn't give a shit to the fact that he's labeled as that?
No.
Doesn't bother him?
Nah. I think even it's been said, like friends of his and stuff, they say he just doesn't care about what other people think.
And I think he was talking to a fellow actor. I forget his name. It was somebody he worked on a movie with, became friends with, and Sean would call him up and they'd hang out. And the friend would see Sean Penn as just that, a friend, somebody he could talk to. And he remembers thinking that Sean, I think it does affect him a little bit because Sean would say, like, nobody likes me. And he goes, and the guy's like, well, that's not true. You know, he's like, Sean, listen, there are a lot of people out there that do like you. They appreciate your acting. Not everybody thinks you're an asshole. And I felt that way too when I would go and watch a clip of his, and I look at the comments about Sean.
Oh, they're not good.
But no, I disagree. I get 70% that do like him, and maybe 30% that don't.
I think it depends on the clip that you're looking at.
Yeah.
And what he's saying. Especially more recently, and I we'll get into that later.
Okay.
About the book.
Yeah.
But I think the overall consensus is people think he's an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be honest.
I think you're probably right.
Yeah, man.
And is that the way you think? Do you think he's an asshole?
I
don't.
I think that's there's a lot of things to back it up that he is.
I think he has a short fuse.
Yeah, he's got a temper.
Yeah. But does that make him a bad person? No.
Well,
people have short tempers.
Yeah.
People don't, he expresses what he feels at that time. It comes out. He'll punch somebody for getting in his face with the camera because he may have warned them, listen, get the fuck away from me. And if they don't, he takes action.
Yeah, and that's where, that's not right to do.
But he does. It's very moment to moment,
I'm all
spontaneous.
Beating up the paparazzi is fantastic. As long as it's just paparazzi and not regular people, which I think he's done with too.
Yeah.
He's just like that with a lot of people. And it's not, you shouldn't be intimidated if you see him.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people probably are.
Yeah.
Just guessing.
Yeah.
I know I would be.
Yeah.
If I were to see him, I'd be like, oh my God.
Yeah,
I'd be scared out of my mind. He's not exactly someone he doesn't seem very approachable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
When he was starting out his career and when he was on the Johnny Carson show, that was the first thing that Carson asked him about was the whole paparazzi thing. And could he explain it a little more? And Sean really didn't get too much into it. He basically said, listen, people come up to me, and because I was married to Madonna, we had a lot of press. It got to me. I said, leave me alone. They don't leave me alone, and I react.
Yeah, they're not going to leave him alone. That's
not
their
going
job.
to leave him alone.
That's the thing. Dude, it's such a horrible job. But fuck them for doing it. I'm sorry. And who cares? Dude, they're sitting there waiting for someone to get out of a fucking car. Like, really? What's fucking interesting about that?
Pathetic.
Why would anyone really be interested in it? Why? Like, oh, here's a cool shot of Sean Penn getting out of a car.
I know. It's like, wow. Who gives a shit?
No one needs to see it. No one cares.
So
I don't... Dude, when celebrities lash out on paparazzi, I'm all for it. I think it's great. They fucking deserve it. Okay?
Hopefully, like, they don't do any permanent damage. Like, I hope Sean hasn't, like, punched somebody and like they lose their hearing, or you know what I mean? Punch him in the face, wake him up, get the fuck out of my way, let me move on with my life.
Dude, that's the risk they take. If you're gonna be a paparazzi, you better take.
Yeah, especially messing with Sean Penn.
Take in consideration.
Yeah, fucking TMZ, all that BS.
Yeah.
I hate TMZ.
Oh, it's fucking horrible.
Fucking assholes. All right, so touching a little bit more about Sean Penn and his character and some of the things that he has to deal with being in the business, being a big star, and how he reacts off of it. Negative? Yes. Necessary?
Probably.
Maybe. Yeah. All right, so we're going to dive more into his films, and my God, the next movie we're going to talk about is truly a movie that's heart-wrenching. It's got a lot to say. A movie that I think that he puts in high regard on his list and his resume is Dead Man Walking, directed by Tim Robbins.
Yeah, this is a important film.
It's
one of
very
many of his important films. It's a must-see. If you haven't, you really need to see it. It speaks about, obviously, he's on death row.
Yeah.
Death row.
Yeah.
And it really opens your eyes. It makes you think about the death penalty.
It made me think about it twice.
It did too.
Because before I watched this movie, I was all about the death penalty.
Yeah.
100%.
I mean...
Not so much after this movie. It turned my eyes, like you said, to look at it in a different way. Like, these are people. They made a mistake, and how horrific it might have been, they still are human beings.
It's a tough subject, because when you think about it, if someone killed one of your daughters...
I'd want them dead.
Right.
Right. And that's a tough thing. But like being a good Christian or being a good person, you have to forgive. And that's the hardest thing to do. And this movie touches on that. Okay? This whole, what should you do? This whole death penalty. Is that the right thing to do? And Sean Penn puts humanity into this character. When he's talking with Susan Sarandon, who won an Academy Award for this. And it's very interesting too, because I think she got that Oscar a lot because of the fact that her reactions off of Sean Penn, just listening to him, are some of the best acting she's ever done. And she deserved that Academy Award. No doubt.
Oh, of course. She's really good.
Those
Sarandon's
scenes
good.
between the two of them are just epic scenes in film history. And this will end up getting Sean Penn his first nomination for Best Actor, and also Tim Robbins was nominated for Best Director for this movie.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you know who he lost to?
Tim Robbins or Sean?
Sean Penn. Do you know who
Was
he lost
it?
to?
Do you have that?
Yeah.
Okay. Who?
Nicolas Cage in Leaving Las Vegas.
I like that performance.
I do.
Yeah.
But Penn should have won.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm a big Nick Cage fan, by the way.
Yeah, and
What?
I always go back to the "What About Bob" reference of there's two types of people in the world.
Okay.
There's two types of people.
Okay.
People who love Nicolas Cage and people who fucking hate him.
Yeah. And even Sean Penn has mentioned that he respects Nicolas Cage, and they've known each other for a long time. Nicolas Cage was in Fast Times. We forgot to mention that. Small role.
Yeah.
So they started getting up into business around that time. Tom Cruise and all those guys were around the same time. And Nick Cage, of course, is his uncle is Francis Ford Coppola. So Nicolas Cage's real name is Nick Coppola. And he shed the name. And I think Sean has seen the way his career's gone. And he was doing some really great films like Leaving Las Vegas. And then he's doing all sorts of just bubblegum, piece of shit acting. And Sean Penn referenced that. He used to be good. Not so much anymore.
Yeah, I had a note about that.
Did you? Did you have the same?
My Word document didn't save at one point.
Oh, okay.
I had a whole bunch of... God damn it.
Stuff referencing Nick Cage?
Not just him, but like how he felt about other
Artists?
artists. And that was a quote of like he somehow lost his way.
Yeah,
basically.
like Nick has lost his way.
He used to be an actor, but now he's just a performer.
Yeah, that's
Something
what I got.
like that.
Which is very interesting.
And I kind of agree with that.
I do too. Because he's not as good as he used to be. I just don't care about anything he's doing right now.
I don't even know what he's doing.
Exactly.
But...
Not much. And what he's doing isn't that good. It's a piece of crap stuff.
Anyway, back to Dead Man Walking.
Yeah.
The scene where he does confess right before he's about to go to execution.
Yes.
Very notable,
Very.
as well as the execution. That, dude, powerful stuff.
The way he breaks down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what puts him, for me, as like one of the best
Top
actors.
notch. He gets it.
He's so emotional.
He sheds his outer shell, that protective shell that all of us have. He breaks it down in that scene.
Because he's a bad guy. He plays
Yeah.
a bad guy throughout the whole movie, but near the end there, he really he breaks down and he does kind of apologize to the family in his way, and it's
Yeah.
it makes you question the whole death penalty and as if it's right or not.
And I got to credit Susan Sarandon's performance. She is talking with him. You know, he's on death row, and she's like a nun. I think she's a nun,
Yeah.
right? And she counsels all of these guys on death row, and she takes a special interest in Sean Penn's character and is with him, and is sort of just trying to get him to admit what he did, and he finally does.
Yeah,
and it's a
and
touching
her
moment.
her reaction
too.
when she
Yeah,
when he breaks down and
she
confesses,
felt it too.
You know, it's just great stuff.
Top notch, recommended, of course, nominated for Oscars. Just one of those films that was a really big deal when it came out, and it was critically acclaimed. Just A1 movie. And the next one I have on my list is one of my personal favorites, an underrated film. This was a very important film for Sean. He wanted to get this done years before, but never had the backing, and he finally got it done. She's So Lovely. I watched this in the theater when it came out. I fell in love with it immediately.
It's such a strange movie.
It's a strange movie. His character's strange. Remember that drink that he made? He's sitting at the bar. This guy's just off his head, okay? And he's ordering this drink. He's like, I want a Siberian Mist. And the guy behind the bar is like, what the hell is that? When the bartender goes, I have no idea what that is. And he goes, well, it's blue. He goes, well, that doesn't help me. You're going to have to tell me what's in it. He goes, and he looks around the bar. He's like, everything. He goes, put this in, put that in. And they put all these, what makes it blue? And you got to put like a dye in it or something like that. And they're drinking Siberian Mist at the bar with Harry Dean Stanton. You know?
Oh, wow, yeah.
You know,
Okay.
and he gets completely wasted and ends up shooting up the bar. And that's how he gets put into prison. And he's alongside his wife, Robin, in this movie, and she gives one hell of a performance. So underrated, this movie. Harry Dean Stanton. You got
Travolta.
John Travolta gives one hell of a performance. He's on and off with his roles, but he was dead on in this movie.
He was
very good. And I think that it goes to show you that his acting means a lot to him, and you can see it in this movie. He has a screw loose in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Big time. And he displayed it very well. Mm-hmm. Is there anything else that you had about this one?
No. No, you kind of summed it up pretty good.
I think so. Strange one, like you said.
It is. It's a bizarre it's a really weird love story between him and Robin Wright.
Yeah, and I guess, like I said, Sean wanted to do this movie a decade before. And he wanted Madonna to act with him during this time. And the director's like, not going to happen. I don't want Madonna in this movie. She's not that good. Sorry, Sean.
God.
He just wanted his wife in the movie. But, I mean, Madonna, she did that League of Her Own.
League of Her Own was good. And
what else was she really good in? Evita?
I never saw that.
Okay, it was okay.
But, who's that girl?
That was horrible. Desperately Seeking Susan.
No, I never
That's
saw
some
that.
bad movies right there. Bad. So yeah, maybe one or two movies she did that were decent. I mean, that's about it.
Yeah.
She's not an actress really. She's a performer,
Yeah.
and a really damn good one.
Yeah.
Okay, lightly touching on U-Turn. Have you seen U-Turn?
It's been a long time.
Okay, it's an Oliver Stone movie.
Yeah, and apparently they didn't get along too well.
No, they didn't.
It's great.
They clashed constantly, he said. Years later, they put their differences aside and actually became friends.
Mm-hmm.
This was a long shot. Oliver Stone attempted to cast Marlon Brando as the blind man. And the eccentric Navajo character, I guess, was this blind guy. And he wanted Brando to play it. Oliver Stone. Didn't happen. So John Voight, a much easier choice to get, ended up playing in the movie.
Brando just didn't want to do it?
Yeah, no, he just didn't want to do it. He was approached many times to do films. And if Brando just didn't want to do a movie, he didn't do a movie. Now, he would do a movie when he needed money,
Yeah,
of
apparently
course.
97, he didn't need money.
I guess he didn't need money at this time.
This is like the same time he did Island of Dr. Moreau, isn't it? It was around that time.
Maybe.
And that was a piece of shit.
Oh, God, that was horrible.
Good lord.
It was comical. Seeing him in that character, The Island of Dr. Moreau, what a fucking
embarrassing.
weird movie. Good God. Sean Penn had originally turned down this role due to scheduling conflicts, and Bill Paxton replaced him. About a week before filming, Paxton backed out. Fortunately for me, because Penn got to do it instead. Oliver Stone offered the leading role to Tom Cruise as well, but Cruise turned it down. So that's U-Turn, and the next one I have up is The Game. Do you have anything before The Game?
No, I don't.
Okay. The Game is a movie that we enjoy. I've seen it several times. I'm a big Michael Douglas fan too.
It's a great suspense. I love that movie.
Yeah, you would say your girlfriend Lisa would even like this one too.
Yeah, and she doesn't like movies, but I think she would like this.
It's a different kind of film.
It keeps you on the edge of your seat. You're like, what's going on?
It's a suspense film.
Yeah, and Penn, he's not really in it a whole lot.
He's a very minor character. He plays his brother.
It's a Michael Douglas movie, basically.
Oh yeah,
but it's really fucking good. It's by David Fincher, who also did Fight Club and Seven.
He does good movies.
He did Zodiac.
Yeah, I love that movie. My wife hates that movie. I love it.
Yeah, it's a creepy movie.
It's about serial killer, the Zodiac.
Real stuff.
Oh, I love it.
Anyways.
I have Jeff Bridges was approached to take the role that eventually went to Penn. He turned it down. And it's a small role for Penn, but he does a very good job in a very good movie. A movie that I want to talk about next that Dave saw a while ago and really didn't feel too much about this one. I, on the other hand, love it very much. It was a play on Broadway for a while. They made it into a movie. It's called HurleyBurly. And I remember our acting teacher at the Playhouse, Gary Kingston, talking about this movie. And he had us doing a few scenes. I remember our classmate Rupert did this scene. He did so well. It's an off-the-wall. The dialogue in this movie is crisp. It's very good. You got Kevin Spacey in this movie. Gary Shandling is in this movie. It's a very small cast. You could tell it was a Broadway play because it's just has that feel to it. You even have Meg Ryan in this, and she is really good. They're pretty much, the movie is about producers that are in the business and show business, and Sean Penn plays a producer. They're strung out on coke all the time, talking about life. Robin Wright is in it as well, his wife. Another movie with the two of them. The scene in the movie, okay, I'm going to bring this up real quick before I move on. Sean Penn and Kevin Spacey just found out that their good friend who played, Chaz Palminteri played this character, okay? This Chaz's character is just pathetic. All he wants to do is get his wife back. His life is just a mess. He ends up killing himself. Sean Penn wants to find out why. And Chaz left a letter, like a suicide note. And it was like 14 words of just random BS. But Sean Penn had it in his mind. He opens up a dictionary and looking up every word, talking about the word. And Kevin Spacey's like, what are you doing? This is stupid. He killed himself. Move on with your life. And Sean Penn's like, no, we're going to figure this out. I want you to tell me how many letters are in there. I want to know. I want to know how many words there are. I want to know how many letters there are. We're going to break it down. And Sean, it's so funny because Kevin Spacey's like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm fucking doing this. Okay, it was 24 letters and the 8 words. And Sean Penn's like, okay, this is important. We got to talk about this. That scene, back and forth between the two of them, is brilliant. So I really want to recommend to my brother, watch HurleyBurly again, just for the acting between the two of them. I mean, even what's their name? Anna Paquin is in this movie. Okay, and I think she's probably around 15, 16 years old.
Had to be young.
And it also shows a side of the business. I mean, she's 16, and you have Kevin Spacey sitting on the couch with her and Sean Penn.
Oh, God.
Getting all sort of... Sean Penn ends up taking her to the next room and having sex with her. A little insight on how the business is.
And
the
what
dark
really
side.
Been coming out lately.
Yes, especially with, guess who? Kevin Spacey. I don't want to really get into Kevin Spacey because that's a deep issue. He broke my heart because I was a big Kevin Spacey fan, and his career is over.
You can say that, and rightfully so.
Yeah,
he deserves it.
He deserves it.
Well done.
So a little glimpse into show business and the dark side of show business. Watch HurleyBurly. You'll get a little insight about that. Moving on to the next movie, I have The Thin Red Line.
Yeah.
That was his next big movie. Most call it a masterpiece. I call it a good movie.
I know I liked it when I saw it. The cast is ridiculous.
The casting process for that movie, I guess, was just because Malick directed it. He's highly respected.
Obviously, because all these guys took a huge pay
Yes.
cut. I'll read this off. This may take a while.
Go for it.
Jim Caviezel.
Yeah, Caviezel.
Caviezel. He played Jesus, by the way, in Passion.
Yeah.
Nick Nolte, George Clooney, Adrian Brody, John Cusack, John Voight, Woody Harrelson, Kyle MacLachlan. MacLachlan? Is that how you pronounce
I
it?
think so.
Thomas Jane, Jared Leto, which...
I don't even remember him. It must have been a small role.
But he's in it.
Yeah.
John C. Reilly, again.
Of course.
Because Sean Penn and him have to do every movie together. Nick Stahl and John Travolta. Now, there's even more stars. Apparently, Billy Bob Thornton.
Mm-hmm.
He did the voiceover.
Yes.
Like 3-hour voiceover.
Yep.
For this movie, but was never used.
Nope.
And other stars that ended up on the cutting
lot of
room
them.
floor are Bill Pullman, Gary Oldman,
Yeah.
Lucas Haas,
Yeah.
Viggo Mortensen, Martin Sheen, Jason Patrick, and Mickey Rourke.
Amazing. That he cut those actors out.
No, those
What
guys.
the fuck, this guy's he's different. This guy.
Which actor was it? Oh, I think it was Adrian Brody who thought he had
A major role.
he thought he was a major character, and when he went to see the final, at the premiere, he was just like,
What?
like Rob Lowe in Outsiders is like, what happened to all my fucking
Even
scenes?
more so because Brody went into this believing he was the main character.
That's
It ended
fucked
up being Jim instead. Caviezel.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was his movie. And that was his really big first movie, actually. He had done Jim Caviezel.
Yeah.
He had done a few things. This was his big break. He said the casting process, the auditioning was just he couldn't believe how fucking difficult it was. And he said that the director Malick called him up on the phone and told him that he was finally going to get the role. He felt that he wasn't going to get it because it was taking so long and it was such a process. He was just done. And he called him up, told him, "Listen, Jim, I want you to play the role. Would you do it?" He's like, "Well, of course I'm going to do it."
Jeez.
He said that Malick called him up before he called up his agents. So he knew before his agents did.
Wow.
And usually it's the other way around.
Yeah.
So this Malick guy, he's very unorthodox. He did Days of Thunder. He's very meticulous in his work. His movies are
He
weird.
did Days of Thunder?
Yeah. No,
I don't think...
not
when
Days of Thunder.
I read
not
that...
the Tom Cruise one. Days of Thunder.
No, I read that he hadn't done a movie in 20 years.
Yeah, that's right.
And this came out in 98.
Yeah, I said the title wrong. Not Days of Thunder. That's the Tom Cruise movie.
Oh,
no, he did
it's
some
a
other movie with Richard Gere. It was a while ago, like in the 90s. So,
but
it was a
it
big
was
deal.
everybody obviously wanted to be in this movie.
Yeah, they
and
did.
almost everybody was in it.
The most of Hollywood.
Yeah.
And those that you got their scenes cut in this movie.
That's amazing.
Incredible. So the Thin Red Line. Yeah, all the notes that you said, that's what I had down.
Okay.
Like everything that you said. Yep. Yeah. A little tidbit though I want to add is after reading the script, Sean Penn met with Malick, told him, "Give me $1 and tell me where to show up." He wanted to do it that bad. He probably did it for free.
That they all did.
And there's a scene in the movie between Jim Caviezel and Sean Penn, and it's very emotional. Not in the respect that Sean Penn is crying or anything, but there's a scene where he's talking to Jim. He looks over at him, and there's certain looks that Sean Penn will give in a performance, and it was deep, and it made me realize that Sean Penn falls in love with the characters that he's playing with on the set of a movie. He looked at Jim Caviezel with eyes of like, they were very subtle, they were deep, and like loving. Mm-hmm. He showed like his eyes, almost like he was looking at a woman that he loves. He had so much, and I wrote that down as a note. I felt that Sean actually does fall in love with his co-stars. Not romantically, but more like a brother.
Sure.
He does that. He goes that deep. I thought that was noteworthy. The next one is with Woody Allen that I wanted to talk about. Have you seen Sweet and Lowdown?
I did.
Yeah.
Back when it came out.
I enjoyed it. It's weird. It's about a musician.
Yeah, I don't remember enjoying it a whole lot.
No, it was okay.
Yeah, I agree.
He was nominated for Best Actor for this.
kind of surprised.
Must have been a
weak
Yeah.
year.
him
What,
playing.
Daniel Day-Lewis?
I
he
know
didn't
Daniel
have a movie
Day didn't
coming
do
out
a movie
here?
that year. Yeah.
Like, oh shit, what are we gonna do?
I was impressed with Samantha Morton in this movie. She's a mute. She, I think, won for Best Supporting Actress for this movie, and she did a very nice job. She doesn't say a word of dialogue. It was all reaction off of Sean Penn. And I guess reacting off of Sean Penn's pretty easy. He gives you a lot. And him sitting down with the guitar, strumming away. Looks like he's really playing it. I don't know if he was, but it looked pretty real to me. He did a really nice job preparing for the role, and he gets into the music. I think that what I liked about that character is that he really was feeling the music and really into it. Sweet little scene. And I think that's probably why he was nominated, because it kind of shows through in a performance that he really is in the moment, in the character, and that character itself is strange, if you remember that character.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. He did change his appearance and walk and the way he moved around. He really did. So well done with Sweet and Lowdown, a Woody Allen movie. And he was nominated for Best Actor. And that's it with that movie.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
had nothing on that.
The next one I want to lightly touch on is The Pledge. He directed it. And the movie itself is fine. Jack Nicholson, again, collaborated with Penn to do this movie. And I want to mention, and Dave didn't remember this scene, but this is one of my most favorite scenes in film history, is Jack Nicholson goes and visits a father that has lost his daughter years before. He's in a sanitarium. He is out of his mind, depressed. So Jack comes to visit him. It's played by Mickey Rourke, is the father, and he's sitting in this room all by himself smoking a cigarette. Jack comes in, says, hi, I just want to talk to you about your daughter. And then Mickey Rourke's like, my daughter? And Jack's like, yeah, you had a daughter, right? That was kidnapped a few years ago? And Mickey Rourke's like, what are you telling me, that you found her and she's dead? Is that what you're telling me? He goes, no, we haven't found her. And I just want to know, if you want to give some information, tell me about your daughter. You get, right after that, 40 seconds of pure blissful acting by Mickey Rourke. He goes through the motions of how much he misses her. He says something like, we used to just hold each other and just hold each other. I miss her, so I was supposed to protect her. And he just breaks down crying. I don't know what was going through Mickey Rourke's head, what he was feeling, thinking about at that time, but you get one of the deepest moments in film history in that cameo appearance by Mickey Rourke, a film directed by Sean Penn, and once again, a child being involved here. A child lost, a child killed. That's what they say is the greatest tragedy of all. Losing a child.
Agree with that.
Okay? And for some reason, Sean likes to touch on this and feel that.
Yeah.
It brings out deep emotion, and that's what Sean Penn's all about. So, lightly touching upon The Pledge, just to mention that moment.
Lightly. I don't
Yeah,
know.
do you
That's not-
remember that scene?
A little bit. Like,
Okay.
It's been a while. I obviously need to go back and see that scene.
It's on YouTube. Just go, you put
I'll-
Rourke, Nicholson, it comes right up.
I will have to go ahead and do that.
It's like a minute. I mean, I watch it,
Yeah.
I'm not kidding, monthly.
no kidding.
When I need a fix to just watch brilliant work,
Wow.
art, Mickey Rourke goes somewhere. It's just like, wow, that's deep. And one of the greats of all time, Mickey Rourke.
Yeah.
Weird guy.
It's weird that you say that, because his career is so
Up and
scattered.
down.
Yeah, obviously, because he took a lot of time off because he wanted to be a boxer.
Mm-hmm.
But he finally did bounce back, and with Sin City and
Yeah, The Wrestler.
and The Wrestler and
Was a
stuff.
great movie.
Yeah, he's really good in that.
I Am Sam. I'm mixed with this movie. I am.
Suck. I've never seen it.
Okay.
It's one of those just I never got around to seeing.
Yeah, he plays he plays a retarded guy. Okay, has a daughter, and they feel he's not fit to be a father because he has a disability, and he fights the
Right.
system to get her back. And I think it was in Tropic Thunder. We're bringing up Tropic Thunder. It's so
Again?
funny. But it relates to this because in the movie, Robert Downey Jr. is talking to Ben Stiller's character, and Ben Stiller's, they're all actors, and he's telling him, because Ben Stiller played that role of that retard, he's like, you never go full retard, man. You just can't do it. Because the only one that pulled it off was Dustin Hoffman, but he wasn't a full retard. You know,
Oh my God.
right? And then
All
Sean Penn played a full retard in this movie. Okay? And it's so weird
Okay.
to see Sean Penn playing a retarded guy. I mean, he did fine.
Yeah, does he pull it off? I mean,
He does.
okay.
Okay? Because of Sean Penn.
Because
He's
it's not
fucking
easy,
amazing.
dude. That's like that's really hard to do.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I mean, and DiCaprio nailed it in What's Eating Gilbert
Yeah,
Grape.
he did. Yes.
So you got Hoffman and DiCaprio.
That did it. And Penn.
If I'm missing somebody, in Penn, I guess I haven't seen it, so I can't speak on it. But
you know what? It is what it is. It's a heart touching movie. Michelle Pfeiffer's in it, so go watch it, Dave.
I will
You gotta
eventually
give it a
see
shot.
God, there's so many movies to see.
But we're gonna move on to the movie that just was perfect for Sean Penn. We're gonna talk about an actor that nails a role. Yeah, this would be it.
This next one here.
Yeah, and before we talk about this movie, I want to go ahead and play a quick clip for you. I'm going to set it up. Sean Penn's character finds out that his daughter has been killed and they have found her body in a ditch. Kevin Bacon plays the cop, finds the body, and hears in the distance Sean Penn's character coming up to the scene. Is my daughter in there? And you're going to get some heartbreaking performance by Sean Penn.
What the fuck am I gonna tell him? Hey, Jimmy. God said you owed another marker. Came to collect.
Hey! Hold on! Hey, take it easy. That's the father. Hey, take it easy.
Motherfucker! He sent my daughter in there! Look at my eyes! Is she in there? Get off me, son! He sent my daughter in there! He sent my daughter in there! No! No! No!
Wow. Oh my God. But
That's rough.
when we listened to it just before we started recording again, just to get a little taste of it, because we've seen it many times, but when his voice cracks at the end, is that my daughter in there? The way that voice, I mean, it's going somewhere.
He requested an oxygen tank
Okay.
because of how much he was just busting up his vocal cords.
Yeah.
And rightfully so. If you hear that, that's just the one take. You know, who knows how many takes they actually did.
Yeah.
But that's some of the best acting. You just don't get much
Better than that.
You do, but I mean, it ranks right up there. It's some of the best acting you'll see.
He completely breaks down.
It's hard to watch.
He goes somewhere.
It's hard to listen to, even.
He goes deep in depth of emotion, and it showed that cracking of the voice that goes to show you how deep he goes when he. Oh man, it's so emotional.
I mean, it's so real. It gives me goosebumps just even thinking about it. And I don't have any kids.
Right.
I could only just imagine what that feeling is like if you know your daughter
He's in a
might be
ditch.
dead.
Your daughter is lying in a ditch, a dirty ditch.
And
Yeah.
it goes without. I mean,
Yeah, and it also brings up the point again. This whole children thing, it means a lot to him. It means something to him. He likes to go there, experience that for some reason. Does something, maybe a therapy, but he likes to dive deep into that subject matter. And of course, this was directed by Clint Eastwood, and I believe this is his best performance.
it ranks up there with Dead Man Walking.
Oh yes,
That scene alone probably overtakes it a bit just because of how powerful it is.
Yeah.
But, and by the way, Mystic River was a book. Dennis Lehane?
Yeah.
Is it?
I think so.
My apologies if I fucked that
yeah,
up.
I'm
but-
bad with last names too.
And this is like one of the few books I read first and then saw the movie.
I never read the book. Is it good?
And
Yeah.
it's really good. And it didn't disappoint when you have Sean Penn, Kevin Bacon,
Tim Robbins.
Tim Robbins,
Great cast.
Oh, who played? Oh, dude, what's her name? Who played Sean Penn's wife?
Oh yeah. I forget her name too.
Son of a bitch.
The blonde-haired woman, the
Yeah,
actress. She was in Truman Show with Jim Carrey.
Yeah, I mean, it's a, and then of course you got it directed by Clint Eastwood. It's a great film.
Yeah. Michael Keaton was supposed to play Sean's character.
Yes,
Do you know about this?
Yes, I have this down here. And
Which is, I'm not, Sean's character, I'm sorry, Kevin Bacon's part.
yeah, Kevin Bacon, who played as a police officer.
The cop, yeah. I guess Michael
Detective.
Keaton was supposed to play that. I didn't know that.
He was cast and all, but got into a huge fight with
Yeah.
Clint Eastwood.
They were, I guess, he did his usual prep work, Keaton. He even read through the principal reading with all the actors.
Yeah.
And then a month before shooting, got into a nasty argument with Eastwood and left immediately. Gone.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And both Robbins and Penn were nominated for Best Actor and Best Director in Dead Man Walking, right? They were nominated, didn't win, but both ended up winning Oscars for their performances in this movie, Mystic River.
Yeah.
All right. Before we move on, go ahead.
Real quick though, during the scene where Sean Penn goes up to the morgue to see his daughter,
Yeah.
and he gives an emotional scene where he vows revenge and everything.
Yeah.
The actress, it's Emmy Rossum, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she broke into tears
Okay.
laying there because it was so emotional.
Oh, the actress.
The actress who's supposed to be playing.
She's supposed to be dead. Yeah.
You know, she started crying during it because it was so emotional. Just goes to show, you know, Penn's performance.
It's so powerful that
she couldn't.
she couldn't stay in
compose
character.
herself.
My God. Amazing. Okay, so is that all you have about Mystic River?
Yeah.
Okay. Before we move on to his next film, I want to go ahead and talk about Sean Penn and Iraq real quick. I give Sean Penn a lot of credit for getting involved with this, okay? He felt very strongly about it. The dude lets his opinions be known and does something about it. He went out to Iraq because he wanted to see firsthand what was going on. He has stated that I think the percentage for people that leave this country is like 25% of the population of America actually leave this country, that 75% of the population has never been outside the borders of America. He feels it necessary to go out and experience things firsthand, to get knowledge and opinions about something. And I respect him for that.
Yeah.
Other people make fun of it. I don't believe it.
They make fun of it?
They make fun of it.
Okay.
People think he's a pompous douchebag, they say.
For
going out there and giving his opinions. Oh, he's an actor. Who gives a fuck what Sean Penn has to say about Iraq and the war, okay? And I guess in the movie Team America by Trey Parker, did you read about this?
Yes.
Okay? They portray Sean Penn in this movie, you know, being silly.
as well as
other actors as well,
celebrities.
okay?
Matt Damon.
Right? Okay, Sean Penn was not pleased with this, okay?
Nope.
And he wrote a letter
Sure did.
and had it publicized, condemning the film and what it stood for, and how dare you make fun of me in this subject matter. This means something to me. How dare you do this? And he made it known he was not pleased. What do you think about that? I say, good for you, Sean. I'm not a big fan of those movies anyway, and
I
I'm
love
glad
it. See, I love them.
Sean isn't either. I'm on your side, buddy.
Yeah, I'm.
It's such BS. Just, you know what? Oh, you're funny. Good for you. But you're making fun of the wrong shit. Go do something else.
You see,
That's what you come up with?
I'm a big fan of making fun of stuff like that. Because
okay, I'm not.
In Trey Parker and Matt Stone, the directors and creators of South Park, they directed the Team America.
Yeah.
You know, Matt Stone, I believe it was Matt Stone who was like, don't take it so seriously. It's a movie about their puppets.
I get it.
It's all goofy, stupid shit, and it's light. And although it's all, I mean, I think it's funny.
Okay.
I do.
And that's fine. And I understand that. I get that. I have nothing wrong with that, I guess. But okay, say you're really into an issue, okay, and you're going on the line, really being involved, giving a strong opinion about it, okay, and that's Sean Penn, they're portraying you, okay, in a light that he didn't like.
I know, and I get that too, man. I get both sides. I mean, you got one very serious, and it's very heartfelt, and it means a lot to Sean Penn. Get that totally.
Yeah.
But then you got two goofballs that are just they're in the business now to make fun of pretty much anything and everything. No, there is no boundary to what those guys do.
I'm not a fan.
So when you know that,
Yeah.
we already know that. That's what they do.
I get it.
They make fun of Oprah. Okay, they make fun of everybody.
I know.
So it's like a lot of them, a lot of celebrities don't really take it to heart because they know that.
Yeah.
You know, that's what they're in the business to just kind of fucking rip Hollywood apart.
Yeah, I know.
And in a sense, I commend them for that because someone needs to do it.
Okay.
You know what I
guess
mean?
see
You
both
get that part of
sides.
it.
I see both sides.
Yeah, and so it's like, okay, you're gonna have that. He was the only actor who was made fun of in that movie. That complained.
I know.
And even Matt Damon never complained about the Matt Damon. And that was all spawned because when they made the puppet of Matt Damon, they're like, he kind of looks a little retarded.
Oh, jeez.
It's like, all right, we'll just have him say only Matt Damon. You know,
yeah, I
so
know, I know.
I mean, and Matt Damon never complained about that.
No.
And he was portrayed as a retarded puppet.
Yeah, but it wasn't a political thing, and I think that's what really pissed off Sean Penn.
Right, and I get that.
He's very into politics. It means a lot to him. It's nothing to take lightly.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I wanted to touch upon that as we go into a movie that I want to talk about real quick. The Assassination of Richard Nixon. I watched a few days ago for the very first time, and I was severely impressed. I say severely in a way because I went into this thinking, oh God, what the hell is this? I'll check it out. Boy, was I pleasantly surprised. Sean Penn gives us some tremendous acting. There's a part of the movie where okay, I'm going to tell you what it's about. He plays the character. It's a true story. He tries to assassinate Richard Nixon. It's a very kind of really fucked up story. This guy loses his mind. He has a telephone conversation with his wife. They're divorcing, and he completely breaks down. Just like in Mystic River, but not as much. But it's very truthful, very real, and one of note. So, lightly touching upon The Assassination of Richard Nixon, a very underrated film. Next up I have that I'd like to talk about is Into the Wild. How do you feel about this movie? I'm sure we talked about it in the past. But it's been a while.
I remember you ruined it for me too.
Did I?
I didn't know anything about the movie.
See, I thought you did.
No,
probably.
I know it's based on a true story.
Yeah, Christopher McCandless.
But I didn't know anything about it, and I remember you're like, "Oh, dude, this movie's great, man." He's like, "You're talking about this part," and he's like, "Oh yeah, the movie." Maybe I shouldn't ruin it for everyone else who might be listening.
You can ruin it.
You're like at the end he dies. I'm like, dude, come on!
Why didn't tell me that? Why didn't I know that?
Fucking spoiler alert.
Yeah, it's a hard movie to watch.
It is a hard movie. It's really good.
Oh, it's excellent.
It's
adore
amazing. It's a true story because it takes a lot of balls to go ahead and destroy everything you own.
The Chris McCandless character, yeah. I mean, it was a true story. It's a fascinating story.
It is.
I looked up on him too because I was so fascinated by the story. I mean, leaving everything behind to go out to Alaska, live off the land. I mean, he was a teenager, I think. He just got out of college.
Yeah,
he was it college? So early 20s. And Sean Penn waited 10 years to make the film to make sure he had the approval of the McCandless family. Once he envisioned DiCaprio as McCandless, and Marlon Brando is Ron Franz when he first became interested in making the movie. And Emil Hirsch, awesome.
Who is that?
Emil Hirsch, he was in...
what else?
He's
the lead, right?
Yeah.
But
for some reason...
I can't picture him in anything else, though.
Yeah. Was that Dogs of Z-Town? That skateboarding movie?
Didn't see that.
He was in that. I should have wrote down maybe what he did.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
But he's very good. He's a small little guy. He actually lost a lot of weight.
He's just a
little guy. Lost a lot of weight for the film.
On you.
And Sean Penn displays once again his mastery of making a movie, directing it, and doing it. He had Eddie Vedder do the soundtrack, and I thought his music was perfect.
Oh, absolutely.
And one movie that I would recommend very highly if you've never seen it, my wife just can't bring herself to watch it again. She watched it once with me and said, "That's it." It was so emotional.
Casualties of war type of deal.
Yeah, it really affected her because she fell in love with that character of Chris.
Yeah.
And when he passes at the end, it just crushed her.
Yeah, that's brutal.
So I guess you could say Sean Penn did his job very well because it affected my wife and me as well. Very touching film. Next up, this one, it was hard for me to watch, man. And I think I explained to you why.
Right.
Do you feel the same way? We're talking about Milk.
Milk, yeah. Another very important movie.
Yes.
Portrayed great by Sean Penn to play it's a base once
A
again,
gay politician.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Based on a true story of Harvey Milk, who
Harvey
fought
Milk.
for gay rights
Yeah.
and became California's first openly gay elected official.
Yeah.
So, and I think it takes place in late 70s.
Yeah, I want to say late 70s.
Late 70s. But yeah, I mean, Harvey Milk became, he was assassinated,
Yeah, of course.
murdered.
Yeah, he was a
You know.
threat.
He was a threat because he was, trying to, he made a movement for gays to come out of the closet,
Yeah.
to be accepted. And, that's still a touchy subject. Still. And I guess we live in a bubble, I guess, because I feel like it doesn't matter, but it's still a big problem in
No, it doesn't matter, and I have nothing against the gay movement at all. It's a good thing. It's a great thing. And this movie portrayed it very well. And I say it was hard to watch for me in the very beginning of the movie. And this is just me personally. It was hard to watch James Franco and Sean Penn making out. I'm going to be quite honest with you. It makes me uncomfortable. It just does. It's hard for me to watch that. And maybe that's bad on me. I'm not open to that. I commend actors that can give 100% to that, give into that, become their character, and engage in that, and make it look real.
yeah.
Props to you.
Yeah.
It's not easy if you're straight, right?
It is, yeah, it's a bit uncomfortable.
Right.
When you're straight, I mean, I know it's such a loaded issue at this point.
Yeah.
With, it's a little uncomfortable if you're not used to seeing that kind of thing, that's all.
Well, when you watched it, did you kind of go, whoa, yeah.
I mean,
Look at him go.
Yeah.
Hey, oh, hey.
Go get him, Sean.
Sean and James.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of like, wow, holy cow, that
Yeah.
it, like you said, though, it's so convincing and stuff.
True
and
artists.
that's where, like, if it's not convincing, that could make it even worse.
Yeah.
Like, if it's all weird and uncomfortable, then
Yeah.
everyone's going to feel that. But
Yeah.
it was convincing.
They pulled it off, man. They
Yeah,
did.
I don't know. I didn't
Incredible.
I didn't feel any way towards it. But I do have a note about
Okay.
that. Like, when he when he was done doing that, at least the first scene of doing that, he texted Madonna
Uh-huh.
and said he popped his cherry of kissing his first man or something. And Madonna's response was, "Congratulations."
That is so funny that he texted Madonna because obviously
Yeah.
she is in the back of his mind a lot, I think.
Yeah,
I think she
I mean,
is.
it's amazing that they still keep in touch.
They do. I mean, I don't know. I think that's pretty cool that they
Yeah,
do.
it's amazing. I don't really keep in touch with my exes.
I'm assuming they shared so much together in the early parts of their careers, coming up in the business and all that stardom. I think they really shared a lot behind closed doors when they weren't yelling at each other.
Well, he made a comment when he said when they were married, it was all great and all, but it was like, it wasn't until they divorced he was like, wow, she's actually an interesting person. I
Yeah.
don't know if we had an actual conversation when
I
we
read
were
about
married.
that. Yeah.
So it goes to show they were kind of young and dumb kind of thing.
I think so too. That's a good point. That's a good point. I think, I don't know, man. Is there any other movie you wanted to touch on with Sean?
No.
Because I have, after that he did Fair Game, and then The Tree of Life were ones of note that I wanted to point out.
Okay.
And that's about it for me with
Okay.
his movies. He did
Yeah.
some great movies so far, no doubt. Is there a movie that you have that you want to touch on?
I don't think so. I know I'm out of date with a lot of recent movies, as far as
Yeah, a
know,
lot of his recent
he
stuff.
did. Was it Gunman or
Yeah,
something?
I mentioned Gunman. It wasn't that good.
I didn't. Okay.
I didn't enjoy it.
Okay.
No, the only part I enjoyed was
What about
watching him surf.
21 grams.
I didn't see it. I didn't have time.
Me neither. And I
did-
hear it's really good.
I hear it's really good. So if that's one of the movies that we've never watched of Sean Penn, sorry, Sean. We haven't
know
seen
you're
that
not
one.
listening,
I know. Sean, he's listening.
If there, yeah. those of you who've seen it, let us know what you think.
Yeah,
because,
21 grams.
We both missed the boat on that one.
Yeah, I wanted to see it and just didn't get around to it because I jammed in a lot of ones I didn't see yet within the past couple of weeks. I think I did a pretty good job of catching up on some of the stuff I haven't seen, but I think that will round out our part of this show of Sean Penn talking
Right.
about his movies, and I think we want to go ahead and delve a little more into Sean Penn the man, along the lines of what we were talking about earlier at dinner.
Yeah.
And you want to go ahead and start it off?
Well, I mean, let's start off with he's always been very political. He's
Yep.
very liberal.
Yep.
And at one point he was very criticized for, he at one point owned a lot of guns.
Yeah.
We're talking he had 65 firearms he owned.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people are like, okay, you're so liberal, yet you own all these guns.
Yeah.
And when he was dating Penelope Cruz,
Penelope Ann Miller? You dated Penelope Cruz?
no, I'm sorry, my bad, Charlize Theron.
Okay,
My bad.
yeah, okay.
My bad. Charlize Theron basically convinced him or had a conversation about getting rid of your guns,
Yeah.
And he did.
He did.
He ended up giving it to an artist, Jeff Koons,
Okay.
who's a sculpture artist,
All right.
and ended up melting all of his guns,
They
65
melted his guns?
into a sculpture.
I did not know this.
Yeah.
What did they make the sculpture of?
I'm not sure, and my
Okay.
bad.
Okay. Maybe
On
just an
that.
artistic piece?
But yeah, like an artistic piece.
Uh-huh.
It was, it was, I think, auctioned off by Anderson Cooper, who's an anchor for CNN.
Okay.
He bought it for $1.4 million.
What? All those guns molded together? Oh my god. That's pretty fucking amazing.
That's a lot of money.
65 guns, though. He had 65 guns. What the fuck is he gonna do with 65 guns? I mean, I understand there's gun collectors. I get it.
And that's exactly what it is. And I know you're not into collecting
I'm not
stuff.
into
I have
collecting and guns. So
I like collecting.
That I just don't understand.
I don't collect guns. I have no guns.
Sean Penn with a gun. Oh my god, that's dangerous.
Obviously, you never did anything.
I know
with him.
that's what. Yeah, so
But,
maybe it's yeah.
So they're that's pretty interesting.
It is interesting. Good point. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, very liberal. He campaigned for John Kerry in 2004.
Yeah.
He endorsed Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, of course.
So very very political and
Yeah.
Democrat.
In October of 2002, he bought a $56,000 ad in the Washington Post to publish an open letter to President George W. Bush, asking him to slow down the march of war towards Iraq. He wrote it as a father of 2 children and as a son of a World War II veteran, not an actor. He was briefly engaged to actress-photographer Pamela Springsteen, sister of Bruce Springsteen. The two were both in Fast Times in Ridgemont High. That's
Yeah.
where they met.
Yeah.
And if you notice, he does use Bruce songs in his films that he directs sometimes. And The Indian Runner was actually based on a song written by Bruce Springsteen. So I wanted to point that out. And he uses Bruce as inspiration in his movies. He kind of fell for his sister.
Yeah. Well, Bruce is fucking awesome.
Yeah, he is. It's pretty easy to fall in love with Bruce and his
Yeah.
sister, I guess.
I'm a fan of Bruce.
Yeah, so I thought I'd point that out. And before we go any further, his Sean Penn loves cigarettes. Just
Yeah,
I don't know, maybe more than we do.
Yeah, and that's hard to believe. But
He would smoke 4 packs a day.
Yeah, he was up to 4 packs a day. Wow, that's amazing.
And it's showing on his face now. He's wrinkling up.
He's not looking good.
No, he's not. And after that El Chapo interview he gave, he went out and interviewed this drug kingpin. It was hard to get in touch with this guy. Sean Penn found a way, got in touch with him, and ended up having an interview with this guy. And his main goal was to shed light on the whole drug, how bad it is, this drug war, and we got to stop. Just shedding light on the whole issue.
Okay.
Okay? Now, several weeks later, this guy was killed. El Chapo. And that was not an easy situation for anyone. And if you see interviews with Sean Penn about this issue, and I watched one the other day, he looks scared. I will put it plainly. He's going through some shit right now. I mean, heavy stuff.
Yeah, if you've seen recent interviews, he's on that Ambien, which is a sleeping drug.
Yeah.
And we have a cousin who, I think both of our cousins, a couple of our cousins,
Yeah.
have been on this. And it's a hell of a drug. Like, they started to kind of sleepwalk almost. Like, my one cousin, Bob, ended up going to an outlet, and how it kind of looks like a face. He drew like a mustache on the outlet and with a fucking Sharpie, and
Oh, God.
doesn't remember any of it, and
Yeah.
woke up the next morning just face to this outlet with a face on it.
Cute little face on it.
It's a hell of a drug, and a lot of people have weird experiences on it.
Yeah.
And he's taking it
He's
now.
using it to sort of numb his pain.
Yeah,
I would say.
and to help sleep, obviously.
Yeah, he's just not sleeping. He's scared. I think.
Probably.
He says he's not. They asked him that. Is Sean?
He
Are you
seems,
scared?
Yeah, like he doesn't
He's like,
seem.
no. Yeah, he is. And he should be. He's delving into things that are quite dangerous. And I give him props. He's got balls, this guy. There's no doubt about it. He's not afraid. But now I think he is. He wasn't then, but I think he is now. Is there something else you wanted to touch on with this political stuff here? Because we were talking about the that hashtag. What was it? The
Me Too.
yeah hashtag Me Too.
Well,
Should we go back?
yeah, we'd obviously would have to go back
The book?
a little bit. Just about a month ago, he released his book called Bob Honey Who Just Do Stuff.
It's such a weird title. What the?
It is a very strange title.
The title is what?
Bob Honey Who Just Do Stuff.
Bob Honey Who Just Do Stuff. That doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense.
No.
Okay.
Well-
All right. So maybe that goes to show you that this book, although it means a lot to Sean Penn because he loves to write, he says that if he were to do anything, writing would probably be the number one thing if he could do it all the time, because you don't have to deal with the studios. You don't have to
Right.
be an actor and go through all the bullshit. He can just sit down and write.
He says
loves it.
He's kind of losing touch with acting.
Yeah, but he's said that for years. And he
Yeah.
still acts.
But he's older now, and he might.
the dude just
He might.
acts.
Who knows?
He's an actor. Okay? He goes through a lot in his roles, but that's what he is. He's an actor. Okay? So this book comes out, and it's panned. I mean, it doesn't seem like anybody likes it except Sean. I don't know.
Well,
I didn't read
not
it.
exactly.
Okay.
It did get. I know there's a few celebrities, not many.
Okay.
I know Sarah Silverman gave it a good review.
Okay, all right.
You know.
No, sure. The
Comedian.
comedian. Yeah.
But for the most part, most people have not liked this book. Now, I want to read it just because of
I
the
think
bad
it's-
reviews, and I'd like to know more about it.
I think so too. I think I'll give it a look. I probably should have read it before we did this episode, but I just didn't have the time. And he was on Conan talking about it. I watched that the other day, and Conan read the book, said it was very interesting. And I guess there's a character in the book. It's based on Sean Penn, but just loosely based on him. And I think that's the approach he's taking with this book. It's a very artistic piece.
Right.
And I guess the character is wanting to have old people killed.
Yeah, he's an assassin.
Okay. It says something about Trump as well.
He's a divorce assassin. It's a satire.
Okay.
Okay, so
Kill old people to help the population or something.
something like that.
Okay. Oh God, Sean.
In
What?
the biggest part is that there's near the end of the book. At the end of the book, there's a poem about the Me Too movement.
Yeah.
And that's what's really getting the most attention.
I think you're right.
And a lot of people, I mean, when you Google Sean Penn, Me Too,
Yeah.
all you see is like Twitter slams Sean Penn
Yeah.
because Twitter loves to slam everything.
Now, you want to touch a little bit about this hashtag Me Too and what that entails? Because I didn't know anything about it until you mentioned it.
Okay.
I did my research on it. I'm like, okay. Why don't you...
Well, it's basically the poem seems to be almost defending at least two of the alleged sexual offenders
Yeah.
of
Charlie Rose.
Charlie Rose and Louis C.K.
Okay. And Charlie Rose is very close to Sean Penn. He's done many interviews with Charlie Rose, and all of them have been fantastic. So he's good friends with Charlie. So that's a sensitive subject, personally.
Right.
So I think it's just him defending his friend, maybe
Right.
not wanting to believe what happened. And hey, let's lay off these allegations because you know what? Some of them may not be true.
And that's kind of what
That's what it's about.
that's what I got out of it.
Me too.
So,
A witch hunt.
but you start to defend some of these guys that are being accused of this. Even Louis C.K. admitting to what he did. Mm-hmm. That whole ordeal, and obviously a lot of women and men are slamming him for it.
Yeah, they are.
And I have some in the one of the articles I read. They showed some of the Twitter reactions.
Yeah.
I will read some of them here.
Okay.
Wow, I was waiting for a white man's opinion on Me Too, and Sean Penn, notorious abuser, delivers. Everyone go home now. Sexism is over. Dumbass Sean Penn just saved all women with his wisdom.
Wow.
This one is, okay, Sean Penn's book, Bob Honey Who Just Do Stuff, attacks the Me Too movement. But a high school dropout who savagely beat Madonna with a bat and snorts coke off a hooker has to be an expert on feminism, right?
Ooh. Yeah, they're slamming his character. I get it. Okay? And that plays into this. Just because of Sean Penn and his background and his history is just tainted. So how dare he come out and say anything against this movement, because who the fuck are you? Wife beater or puncher of photographers? His history's bad. That doesn't help. Right?
No, absolutely not.
Right.
But I think if it's anyone who's going to speak against the Me Too movement,
Yeah.
is going to get shit for it.
Oh, they are.
No matter what.
But-
And now, the movement obviously is necessary.
It is.
I think what Sean Penn is trying to say, and he believes it's necessary. That's another thing. You know, people don't like to first, research something. They're just going to go ahead and say what they feel.
Right. That's common.
And that's the problem with social media.
Yeah.
And that's why I hate it so much.
Yeah.
And I try to avoid it at all
It's tough.
costs.
Yeah.
Because I'm so sick of hearing everyone's opinion on fucking everything.
Yeah.
It's like,
It's
first,
so easy to do.
you know, and I always come back to this, and I think of this line all the fucking time. And Glengarry and Glenn Ross. Glengarry, Glenn Ross. Al Pacino tells Kevin Spacey, ironically enough.
Oh my god, that's so fucked up. Okay, go on.
You know, and if you haven't seen Glengarry, Glenn Ross,
Check it out.
fucking awesome.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Al Pacino's veteran salesman
Yeah.
talking to Spacey, who's a
Piece of shit.
unexperienced piece of shit
Office
salesman.
manager? He's an office
Yeah,
manager,
office
yeah.
manager, doesn't know anything. Anyways, the line that Pacino gives to Spacey is, never open your mouth unless you know what the shot is.
Exactly.
You fucking child.
You fucking child.
And I feel this really applies to a lot of people on social media who say things without really knowing everything.
It's tough to do all the research because people just don't want to do it.
No, you're not going to do that. You see
Yeah,
something,
you know?
you're going to fucking say, you're going to
Right.
react immediately
Right.
without really getting a background on it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I feel that's fucked up and wrong, and this is why I really hate doing this research. I got very angry because of that.
Because
It's
of
like,
that, yeah.
first of all, when I first saw that he savagely beat Madonna, someone said that. I was like, is that
Okay,
true?
wait a minute,
I
yeah.
didn't know this.
No, yeah. There's allegations.
And
They
so
were
I immediately Googled that, and Madonna testified that no, he never laid a hand on me.
right,
So
right there.
it's
You
like,
can't put that out there. Now people are going to believe that.
and that's the problem. And this is kind of goes back to what Sean Penn is saying about this Me Too movement, although very necessary, and those who are being accused, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
There might be some women that are accusing someone of that's falsely
Yeah. They're falsely
accused.
accused. Yeah.
And now automatically people will think that person is a fucking sexual
they
predator.
think it's a fact. It's in print. Oh,
Yeah.
it must be true.
There's no one. A perfect example of this is, last year when all this was going on,
Yeah.
it seemed like every day someone was being accused
Yeah.
of something.
Yeah.
And, oh man, when I heard Sylvester Stallone was accused of something,
Yeah.
I was
You were just angry. Right?
angry, I was heartbroken, I love Stallone.
Mm-hmm.
And I immediately researched it, and even his ex-wife fucking said there's no way that happened.
Yeah.
It was some sort of accusation when he was filming Over the Top.
Oh yeah, I read about that. Yeah.
Such a great movie.
Yeah. Arm wrestling.
I mean, how many arm wrestling movies are there?
Yeah, I felt the same way. Fred Savage was recently accused. I'm like, we're going to Fred Savage now?
Are you
really
fucking kidding?
Fred Savage? Come on. It's getting out of control. And Sean Penn sees it, too.
Yeah, and I think that's what he's talking about. I mean, you have your Harvey Weinsteins and your Kevin Spaceys. They're deservedly so. Pieces of shit.
Those we know happened.
Like, that's what the movement is for those kind of assholes.
Shithouse, yeah.
But if you're gonna make a claim on somebody and it's not true, that's fucked up. That could
that's
ruin someone's
wrong.
career.
And these things happen. Rumors. This is nothing.
Yeah.
This is nothing new. Rumors happen, okay? And you're put into that position as an artist, and you're big. You have a lot of star status. You're gonna have accusations thrown your way. Tom Cruise can attest to it. In that episode we did with Tom, a lot of things have been said about him as well. And you got to take it for what it is. Don't believe everything you hear, folks. Do your research.
Yeah, that it's true.
Yeah.
You really do. I mean,
I think that we wanted to just
it's a
touch on
very
that.
sensitive subject. Because
Very sensitive, man.
we
You're
all-
talking about personal lives.
it's not a big surprise that the whole casting couch thing has been going on.
Oh, that's been
And it's
going on
about
forever.
fucking time it stops.
It's a mess, people.
It is.
Especially the way they treat kid actors. Disgusting.
It,
It's a bad, bad thing.
yeah.
And that's a whole other episode. We could talk, people would actually be interested in that, talking about that side of Hollywood. It exists. People just don't want to talk about it. There's been some great documentaries done about that, behind closed doors, what goes on. It's very disturbing. But
And that's where it's great that this is finally happening.
yeah,
Kudos to the women that are finally bringing down these cocksuckers. Mm-hmm. But just make sure it's true. Like,
Make sure.
that's where you'd hate to have someone be labeled as a sexual predator or a molester or,
Yeah.
if it's not true.
Yeah,
Dude, that's fucked up
horrible.
if it isn't. And I think just Sean Penn is kind of touching base on that
Yeah.
in this book, is
Okay.
what I get from it.
Okay, interesting.
If I'm not right, I'm sorry.
right.
Let us know.
It wouldn't surprise me. That's
Because
the way
he is all for the Me Too movement.
Okay.
Well, I don't want to say he's all for it because he's kind of.
Well, yeah.
He's kind of
He thinks it's dangerous.
tread lightly.
Yes.
Is kind of what he's saying. It's like, don't go overboard with it with these false accusations.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point,
I
Dave.
think that's kind of what he's getting at,
I hope so.
and I do too.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
I don't know.
he's a weird guy. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think he's trying to say they're all lying.
No. And putting aside his destructive behavior in the past, and it is still going on, he just has a short fuse. That's just the way he is. You can't change who you are, okay? Putting that aside, Sean Penn is a very deeply thought human being. He has deep thought. He has a lot to say. He gets involved. He goes out there, okay? He gets himself dirty. He was helping the floods that happened, and he went out there and helped them. He cares. I think he is not full of shit. People think he's full of shit. I don't. So kudos to Sean Penn for getting himself out there and doing something that he feels is right in the world. It is rare, and I commend him for it. And I commend him for his tremendous ability to give us some fantastic work. This is an actor, director, and writer that knows what he's doing. It means something to him, and it means something to me. I can identify with Sean Penn as an artist. We see eye to eye on a lot of things, and that's why I consider him one of my personal favorites, an actor that I wanted to talk about with my brother. And quickly, before we start wrapping it up, I wanted to go back in time for just a moment and revisit Mystic River for just a second, because it's going to pertain to all those out there who don't really care for Sean Penn. Here we go. after that scene we played for you, I forgot to mention that it was on YouTube. That's how I looked it up. And there were a few comments that I wanted to mention after I played the clip. I looked at the comments. Here we go. Here's just a few. Sean Penn chewed that scenery, spat it back out, and ate it again. Next comment. This defines acting. Next up. Anyone with a child cannot watch this scene without feeling as if my heart is being ripped open. Next. Sean Penn didn't act here. Sean Penn made fucking live action character come to life as a father. I get it. He loved his daughter. Next. This scene always brings me to tears. So sad. Next up and last, I am not a fan of Sean Penn acting. Not at all. But after I saw this, my guts came out. Correction. I was not a fan before. Guess what? I am now. That was fucking brilliant.
Wow.
There you go.
Wow.
Good way to end this episode of Sean Penn. And I'm exhausted. This took out of me, man. I was nervous to do this. Like we had Mexican.
Yeah, that was
okay. That didn't help.
I
but
had the number 6 combo.
I had number 24. My stomach was like in knots. I'm feeling a little better now that we're kind of wrapping it up. But like I was nervous about going in this.
I am too, and I think it's a lot to do with the Me Too movement. It's a very sensitive. It's very sensitive, and I hope I didn't say anything that was...
No, you didn't. No, absolutely not, man. If anything, there's nothing wrong with expressing your opinion. Everybody's got them. Everybody has a point they want to make.
That's the problem.
But what you're saying, though, makes sense. Do your research. That's what we're trying to say here. Look into it a bit more.
I'm telling you, social media has been the worst thing that's ever happened to us.
There's good things about keeping in touch with people and giving,
Yeah, but that seems to have all faded away. It's just... everybody just complains and bitches about everybody. It's fucking brutal.
Yeah.
I mean, the only people I follow on Twitter is, like, sports... I want to get sports updates.
Yeah.
That's it. I stopped following people who fucking do political and spread their shit. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's
a touchy subject, social media, and all the politics that go into it. And I don't know. I think that might be something we could touch on more in the future. But we're just going to leave it at that for now. And just end this episode of Sean Penn Part 2 by saying thank you so much for listening to us. Just banter back and forth about Sean. He's a very controversial figure. And it's really cool talking about these guys because they bring so much to the table. Yeah, dude, there's so much to talk
about.
Someone
not so controversial next time?
like I was talking to Dave. We were texting back and forth on Sunday. I was looking up some Jim Carrey stuff. I didn't know he just lost his mind.
Well,
Jim Carrey thinks he doesn't exist. What the fuck is that?
Dude, he's a weird guy. Like, is anyone really surprised by this?
I mean, I know he's a comedian. He's off the wall. I get that. But, I mean, spiritually, he's just all over the place. Like, I mean, deep stuff.
All he's doing now is making really shitty art and posting it on Twitter.
Yeah.
I used to follow him on Twitter, and then all I saw was, dude, I'm sorry.
It's some weird stuff, man.
It's
artistic.
I get it. It's like trying to be funny in an artistic way.
Yeah.
But I can't appreciate the work because it looks like a fucking middle schooler drew it. Like, I could tell he did it in, like, a day.
Yeah.
And as an artist, I'm like, okay, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, these are poorly done. And as what you have to say about it, I really don't care. Okay? All you're doing is trying to stir the shit pot, which you're doing. I mean...
Yeah.
But if that's the attention that he needs, and he is an attention whore...
Yeah,
because he can't get it in movies anymore.
Yeah, he's not as big as he used to be.
So he's doing it with this, like, shitty art. And as much of a fan of his that I have been, losing...
I'm losing it too, man.
I'm like, dude, you need to get a grip.
He's like, slowly breaking down, I've noticed. He is.
I don't know.
He's breaking down. So doing an episode on Jim, maybe we'll do in the far future.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll pick an actor like Tom Hanks to do next together.
Yeah.
Somebody a little more down to earth.
Maybe a Denzel Washington.
Not as controversial. Denzel would be a good one to do.
I was thinking about that the other day.
Maybe we'll banter back and forth about doing somebody not as
controversial and hated.
Yeah, right. Someone that's a little more likable. I guess.
That's a good idea.
Okay, definitely. So we'll talk about that. In the meantime, thank you again for listening. Visit the website, visit Facebook, and don't forget that donate button I put on my website. Go ahead, donate $1 if you can. I would really appreciate it. It'll go a long way with the show. And down the road, looking forward to doing more episodes with my brother. It's such great stuff that we come up with together, filling gaps as we do, and just having a nice conversation about actors that we really appreciate and love, and they give us something back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we really do appreciate what they do. It gives us something. It makes us feel something. So thank you, Sean Penn, for making us feel something when we watch your performances, because guess what? I do, and I know Dave does as well, right?
Absolutely.
So kudos to Sean Penn for being who you are, man. Keep going. Let's cut back on the cigarettes. Cut back on the Ambien, is it called?
Yeah.
Come on, dude. It's all right. You can hopefully just, lay low for a while if you can.
I don't think so.
I don't think you can.
do that.
All right, everybody.
He's gonna make another book.
He's probably going to keep writing and doing some weird books. Whew. All right. Wrapping up episode 38 of The Actors Room. Have a great evening. Have a great day. God bless you. Have a good one.